Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. And on today's video, we'll be talking about BYU and TCU, and that's coming up right after this. Hey everybody, welcome back to Just Justin. I am Justin, and yes, we're going to be talking about BYU and TCU. So yeah, I should do more videos down in my YouTube studio, but I had to take it apart because we're moving Christmas up. I know, right? So early. But that's the story for another day. All right, so let's talk about BYU and TCU. Okay, so the history behind this series. They played 12 times. And TCU currently leads at 7-5. All right. The last time they played was in 2023 down there in TCU country. And TCU walked away with a 44-point score. Yeah, they beat BYU by 44-11. That was a pretty sad game. Okay. That was BYU's first year in the Big 12, and TCU just took a butt kicking to them. All right, so let's break it down here for a sec. I'm going to look at my notes right here, okay? So Saturday, November the 19th in 1987, they met in Fort Worth, Texas, and TCU came away with a 33-12 victory. 1988, they met in Provo, Utah. Okay? And they lost 18-31. Next year, 1996, it was a home game there in Fort Worth, Texas, and they lost 21-45. Okay, 1997, it was back in Provo, and TCU lost 10-31. All right, and they were back in Provo, Utah in 2005, and they won. TCU beat BYU 51-50 in overtime. 2006 was a loss to BYU. 2007, TCU lost again. 2008, they beat BYU. They beat BYU in 2009, 2010, 2011, and 2023. So TCU is currently on a 5-game winning streak. Okay, let's see here. Friday, October the 28th of 2011, they played in Arlington, Texas, most likely at the AT&T Stadium, Cowboy Stadium, whatever you want to call it, and they beat BYU by 10, 38-28. Okay. So right now, TCU's got the lead in the records, 7-5. And the last matchup, 44-11 in favor of the Horn Dogs, TCU. And so what's going to happen on Saturday? Okay, so let's kind of break down what is happening on Saturday. Okay, so TCU travels to Provo, Utah, to Lavelle Edwards Stadium to take on the Cougars at 8:30 at night. It's going to be a cold game. But TCU is also coming off of a loss to Iowa State by 3. And Iowa State's a pretty good team. Yeah, BYU beat them pretty soundly. Not pretty soundly, but they beat him, okay, a couple weeks ago. And before the bye week, before they got their butts kicked by Texas Tech. Okay, so is TCU coming in thinking, hey, we own this series? This will be the 13th matchup between the two of us. And are we going to own it? Are we going to kick BYU's trash like we did the last time in 2023? Right now, according to Vegas, the betting odds, TCU is a plus 3.5. Okay? So that means BYU is a minus 3.5. Okay? So, who do you think is going to win, BYU or TCU? Okay, yeah, TCU is coming off a bad loss to Iowa State. TCU should have won that game, but they did not win that game, and they're going to come into Provo either number one, too cocky, because this is the 13th meeting and they are leading 7-5. And they're thinking, oh, we're going to walk out here with number 8 and a win streak of 6. Okay, that's what TCU could be thinking. You know, I'm not in their heads. I don't know what they're thinking. That's just my opinion. Okay, but BYU is coming off of a bye week and a butt kicking by Texas Tech. Okay, even though they kicked like 5 field goals, they still beat BYU 29-7. So, is BYU going to come in and say enough is enough? It's going to clean house with these Horned Frogs, get them out of here with a loss. We got to go on. We got to go play for the Big 12 championship and prove ourselves. Or are they going to be a slow, sluggish start and let TCU get up by 14, 21 points? I don't know. BYU has a tendency to do that this year. They were down to Colorado. They were down to West Virginia. They were down to Arizona. They were down to Iowa State. They were down to Texas Tech. And they won all of them but Texas Tech. Okay. So what is going to happen? Is BYU going to wake up and realize, hey, we've got to stop TCU. Our chances at the Big 12 championship is not going to dwindle like last year. Okay, they lost to Kansas, then they lost to Arizona State, and that kicked them out of the Big 12 championship and out of the college playoffs. Okay, so if BYU can remain unbeaten, but we're not going to talk about the rest of the season. We're just going to be talking about TCU. If BYU can focus, okay, offense, BYU's got to give Bear some time. Okay, the true freshman. I don't know if you knew that or not, but he's a true freshman. Number 47, the quarterback for BYU, Bear Brockmeyer. Yeah, he is a true freshman, and he's got to get some time. Okay, Texas Tech was rushing him. Texas Tech's got an awesome defense. You know, I can tell you that right now. They've got an awesome defense. They were putting pressure on Bear. Okay, so I think he got a little flustered, and he couldn't perform like he usually wanted to perform. Okay, because the defense was on his butt the whole entire game. So, offensive line's got to protect the quarterback. Okay, he plays good on play action. So why don't you do some play action calls there, A-Rod? You know, I'm not an offensive coordinator. I'm just a desk sitting, couch sitting, armchair football analyst who thinks I know everything. I don't know everything, okay? I don't. I know most things, but I don't know a lot of things. I don't know everything. All right? But let me ask you a question. If the running game isn't doing diddly squat for you, why are you still calling running plays on first down and second down? Okay? You should be throwing more passing plays in there. And move the ball. Okay? Yeah, we've got a great running back crew, but LJ Martin wasn't at his best last week. Hopefully he's a little bit better this week. I don't know. You know, we've got to stop with the mental mistakes. No more muff kicks, Kingston. Yes, you did take one back last year to the house against Kansas State, but you know what? No more muff punts, okay? You got to hold on to that ball. Offense have got to move it. They've got to give Bear some time. All right. Now, on the defensive side, the defense is playing pretty good, except for the tackling. I know I talk about this all the dang time. Tackle, tackle, tackle. Wrap up. Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to tackle you. Let go. Run for another 15 yards. My teammates will tackle you. Stop doing that. You hit clean. Okay? You hit them, you tackle, but you do it cleanly. Let them get the penalties. Okay? Targeting. Yeah, don't target. All right? Even though there's loose definitions of what targeting is. Yeah, that's just, whatever. But BYU and TCU kickoff Saturday night at LaBelle Edwards Stadium. And it is going to be an 8:15, 8:30 start. Okay, so they're predicting right now it's going to be 63 degrees during the day and a low of 43. So it'll probably be in the 50s when the game starts, probably in the 40s when the game ends. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But it's going to be a good game. Okay. TCU and BYU, they've always been a good series together. When they were together in the Mountain West, they played excellent. Then TCU got the invite to go to Big 12. They left BYU behind. But anyway, okay. BYU, TCU kickoff Saturday night on ESPN. Okay, it's going to be a good game. Everybody, I've heard that a lot of people are saying BYU is washed up. They're done for the season. That Texas Tech loss is just, it was just bad for them. Well, you know what? I like BYU, okay? Obviously, I'm a BYU fan. I think BYU will pull this one off. It might not be pretty. It might not be a total blowout like TCU blew out BYU 2 years ago down there in Fort Worth, Texas. But I think BYU is going to pull this off. I think TCU will come in a little bit overconfident, thinking that they've got this because they're already up 7-5, and they have BYU's number. I think it's going to be a good game. BYU plays excellent under the lights at BYU at the LaBelle Edwards Stadium. So there you go. There's my thoughts on the BYU TCU game. I will have my review most likely Sunday morning, and most likely Sunday morning. All right, depending on when the game gets over, and yeah, most likely Sunday morning because I get tired. You know, when I'm up early, getting things done, I got to get ready for winter time. There's a lot I have to do on Saturday, so I'll be tired. So I might not do the video until Sunday morning. Okay, but look forward to that. All right. So what you need to do is hit that like button, so it pushes it out to more people, and you know YouTube will say, "Hey, this is a good video." And hit subscribe down there and that bell notifications, so when I do push out a video on Sunday about the TCU BYU game, you'll get notified. All right? Because here on Just Justin, it is a no niche channel, which means I don't focus on one thing. Okay? Right now, I'm focused on BYU football because it's football season. I do cooking. I've done carnivore. I need to do more thoughts. I have so many thoughts that I want to get down onto video, but just putting them on video and publishing them, that's the problem. Okay? And I need to get back on carnivore. My stress level is a little bit higher right now, and everything like that, but because I like to eat when I'm stressed. But yeah, no, so I talk about nothing. It was a TV show back in the 90s that was all about nothing. It was a great TV show too. Seinfeld. That was a great show. But anyway, I digress. Okay, BYU, TCU, Saturday night on ESPN. Look forward to it. Oh, yeah. How are people watching the BYU TCU game on ESPN if they have YouTube TV? How many out there have YouTube TV? Put it down in the comments. Let's talk about it. All right? Guys, I appreciate you guys. And until the next one, I will see you later. Bye. Go Cougs. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. BYU football and other videos here on Just Justin. Subscribe and watch that other video.